As I was saying, we are on the wrong track. To me, that's blatantly obvious. No matter how you look at it, we're on the wrong track. It used to be that the Republican Party was known justifiably for an abuse of power. And if we go far enough back, the suppression of dissenting viewpoints, the repression of free speech and free expression. Back in the day when unions were first starting, or anybody wanted to protest about working conditions or living conditions, the parties could, or the Republican Party, I'm saying parties plural, being Republican parties in different regions of the nation and even of the world, they were sending their hired goons. These goons could be police. These goons could be the Army, National Guard, military. These goons could be hired thugs. But those days are over, thank God. Then it got to be that the Republican Party would ignore and dismiss dissenting voices, rant about them in newspaper articles and television speeches and radio speeches and the like. But that too has come to a close, and that rather recently. Trump, the reality that Donald Trump was president, forced many Republicans to actually become these kind, fair, balanced, compassionate people that they were so often saying they were. Now, there are many Republicans who are that, have always been that. To me, my observation has been that the non-white, the people of color Republicans, the conservatives, have always been compassionate. They have always strove to value not only their individual voices, but the individual voices of all their brothers and sisters. By this I mean other people of color, but they also are able to understand that brothers and sisters doesn't have a color barrier, doesn't have a cultural barrier, doesn't have an ethnicity barrier. They understood and continue to understand that true compassion is actually offering the hand, the helping hand, to teach someone how to fish, not to give them a fish, to use a very old adage. To help people that they identify with, to help them develop, to realize their own innate dignity and power that they had all along. And they help them to unearth it. They help them to use it. That has always been the case for people of color in the Republican Party. And before then, I imagine people of color in the Democratic Party, because they really, if you're a student of history, you know that they switched sides. That, for example, the Democrats were the party of slavery, and the Republicans were the party that broke slavery. The age of Trump has forced many whites who were selfish, unkind, incompassionate, uncompassionate, to actually become compassionate, to actually become kind, to actually become tolerant. What they believed and what they propagated for so many years was held in stark contrast to, number one, what Trump was, what Trump is. He's not a likable person. I think pretty much everyone's agreed on that. And number two, what the Democratic Party has become very much as a response to Trump. So now you have these kind, compassionate Republicans, conservatives, and Democrats and liberals and progressives are saying, oh my God, what's going on? They don't even want to recognize what's going on. It doesn't fit into any sort of the reality that they have accepted as incontrovertible truth, as truth. And that is what the Democratic Party has become. They say this is reality. And if you differ with us, then you are the enemy. Again, this sounds like a old-time Republican playbook, Republican plays. You are the enemy because you do not believe with us. You do not side with us. You do not believe in everything that we believe in. The individual voice has been suppressed. Beyond that, you have entire demographics, entire groups of people telling them that they will always be treated as low down and dirty and servile, which is basically saying you are low down and dirty and servile. It's like, oh, poor master, do not beat me, poor master. I am trying so hard to be a good man, a good woman. So we're back to Democrats being the party of slavery. This is how they project people of color. And they project whites as absolutely, positively dirty. Original sin that cannot be washed clean. This is the religion. This is their religion. This is what they preach. This is what they believe. This is what they insist that we believe. It's inhumane. It jives with no spiritual tradition that I know of. Granted, the tradition that I know most well is Christianity. I have studied and sampled other religions throughout my life. Probably would do more. But from my limited experience in world religions, world spiritual traditions, this doesn't fly. This isn't true of anything that they preach and that they teach. Humanity is powerful, most powerful, and we ascend when we are united. The idea that one group is irretrievably bad and the other group is irretrievably downtrodden. And that's the way that it always is, and that there's always got to be some give and take and some kind of sacrifice from one group, and one group rising to ascendancy, although no, because that's what they preach, that's the way it's always been. There's no mountain peak to reach because that other group is always in the way. That has nothing to do with Christianity. That has nothing to do, from my understanding, Judaism, Islam, Shintoism. It's got nothing to do with Baha'i faith. It's got nothing to do with Yoruba faith. Nothing. And it's got nothing to do with humanity. That's what I was saying. And I'm going to continue saying it. Peace. You are all my relations. Mitikaya Oyesin. You are my relations, my family. I value you highly. Until we meet again.